What up, y'all? Donwill here, and we're back with another throwback this week. This episode is from season 2, and it's a conversation I had with Dave Giles II about hip house, and it's honestly the perfect complement to the Jungle Brothers episode that just dropped. In this conversation with Dave, we discussed the role that Chicago played in developing the subgenre of hip house, as well as its relationship to drill music. It's a conversation that's full of insight, and Dave is the perfect guest to get some perspective from. He's a Grammy Award-winning songwriter who was featured on Beyonce's Renaissance album and has since been penning hits with his Waves manufacturing crew. He's also a Chicago native. So let's just jump into that episode right now.
How many times have people asked you to say, "This a reminder"?
First off, nobody outright asks me to say it. What happens is somebody tells somebody, like you're in a spot and then somebody's like, "Oh, this is my guy Dave, you should meet him. Matter of fact, he's the voice in the beginning of Cozy, you know?" And then they're like, "Wait, what?" "No, you're not." And I'm like, "This a reminder." And they're like, you know what I'm saying?
It's the Almanac of Rap show. I got opinions and they all factual. No news, just information that you won't be able to use unless you're at a dinner party trying to impress who's in attendance with endless tidbits of nonsense. We're gonna have a good time, I promise. YouTube rabbit holes, Reddit deep dives, pulling out old interviews from the archives. Styles, fads, trends, all of that. It's the Almanac of Rap.
Dave, what's good, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm so glad to be here, man.
Yo, I'm happy to have you here. And off top, before we do anything, I want to congratulate you on that Grammy win, man.
Yeah.
Yo,
Thank you.
it felt so good to see you win, man.
If I ever needed to know that I was loved or that I was, respected, that was truly a moment where it's like literally so many of, my brothers and my sisters, you know what I mean, made it a point to really share a very similar, kind of idea, which is just that like my win felt like their win very naturally, very organically, and like they held it close, literally the same way that you already know I did. And I think that just speaks to community building and just being solid,
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. And I know you've heard the song a million times, but what's been the funnest part of having like a song that is so widely recognized and popular?
Man, my kids, their pride, like
Yeah.
they are so proud, and that, that's something that has been so satisfying,
Man, I bet it is. That's truly beautiful, man. I'm very proud of you, G. All right, so let's go back to where it all started. You're a Chicago native.
Yep.
The birthplace of house music and hip house. What were some of your earliest inspirations?
Basically, in Chicago, house music, and this is speaking from the point of, late 80s, early 90s. So basically, I'm hip to what's going on the radio as of probably like 89. Radio, like daytime radio, primetime radio, all of that. The interstitials, the bumpers were scored by house music. Your transitions from, whatever the new Dr. Dre record, is into the next Jodeci record might have been a sponsor shout out over 10 City, I Want to Give You Devotion.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it was literally background music. It was front and center, in the summer times, at the block parties, at the skating rinks, even as hip hop was starting to kind of take over and become everything, it was always there. There was a period that I can recall as a youngster where I'm seeing on the box, black box, everybody, and then, crisscross.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like right behind it.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's just normal. And I would say the only thing that I probably remarked kind of thinking about where hip house comes in is noticing the difference in how the MCs approach their craft from like, oh, okay, so on house they rap like this, but on, a hip hop record or a gangster rap record, they rap like this.
Right.
And I remember just understanding at that age, rap happens differently in each of these different subgenres, but I never thought of, oh, that's house music, as if it was something that's over there.
Right.
I don't know, man. It just, it was definitely all one and the same, I think, coming from that area.
Today's topic that I want to talk to you about is hip house, and more importantly, Chicago's role in creating it. You've been carving a lane for yourself in this space for a very long time now.
Yep.
And as a Chicago native, your connection to the genre is pretty obvious. Have you crossed paths with any of the Chicago pioneers and legends?
Man, Mike Dunn was the first artist that I would consider, I guess, to be in the hip hop space that I didn't I told you, man, I was already identifying like the different depths of rap. And like, I understood the Jungle Brothers kind of floated in between. I understood that like, Q-Tip would do his features and things like that. But you kind of had, your tiers of what these different MCs could do. And Mike Dunn to me was he was a different animal completely. It didn't feel like, oh yeah, this is the rapping that you do over house music. It was so raw. It was to me, it was rawer than hip hop. The only thing that could compete with that in terms of rawness was like a Luke record. You know what I'm saying? That's how I saw it.
Okay.
On this particular record, Freaky MF. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Baseline filthy. Doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. When you know it, you know it. You know what I'm saying? And you get about your seat. Undeniable record as it is.
Yeah.
And for the uninitiated, he's coming on there. A Freaky MF is the type of brother that'll lick you from your neck to the back of your crack and get all the way down in between the gooch just like that. And if he don't want to do it like that, he gonna put some saliva on the, just going. And he didn't write a single word. It is the most simultaneously hip hop and house moment, like of my personal, musical upbringing. And then we're making the No Shade album, and Luke's like, "Yo, who do you want to work with?" And I'm like, "Man, it'd be crazy to work with Mike Dunn." And they're like, "Say less."
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to Mike Dunn. That's like the athletes say, like, that's my vet. You know what I'm saying?
As a Chicago native, how familiar are you with Common's Resurrection album?
Come on now. Come on.
There's a song on the album, on Common's Resurrection album, called Nothing to Do. And he dedicates a few bars to the landscape of Chicago's party and club scene in the 90s.
Yep.
And there's one specific part of the song where I don't know what he's saying. And I don't know if you were outside back then or you got stories from outside, but I need you to help me with this quote.
All right.
The lyric goes, "Live is how the sets used to be at the Racket, ball club with music by Andre Hatchett, or either beat by Ferris in them country club parties. It would be hot as hell and house studs would yell." What do they yell? Like, I hear him say, "Anybody, anybody." I don't know what he's saying in that part, and it drives me nuts because I can't rap along to it. It's like a house chant that happens.
So I know what you're talking about, and I'm mad now because I'm like, I want to play the track. It's before my outside era.
I figured, yeah. Because Com's a little older than us both.
Yep. At that point, I had to go off of what I heard on like BMX, when they would like record the live sets from the parties. You know what I'm saying? Like on the radio, basically.
Oh, but so in that same song, right after that, he says, "Sawyer's, I would go there. Hip hop clubs were so rare. I used to like the music anyway, and it was always hoes there."
Yep.
Once again, I know that you just told me you weren't really outside back then because Com's a little older, but do you recall there not really being spaces for black people to party in Chicago?
Chicago absolutely had its share of clubs, and it's had its share of black-owned clubs, but the reality is, especially in those days for hip-hop and for house, you basically had like converted venues. Like during the day, this is a banquet hall, but it's turned into the Friday night, you know what I'm saying, spot, like that kind of thing. So when he talks about Sawyer's, you had spots like Mr. G's, and like Mr. G's was a banquet hall, but like Mr. G's literally had Juke-O-Matic 2000, going on a Saturday night, you know what I mean? And me and my sister are 9 years apart in age, and it would be like, "Oh, y'all going to Mr. G's, huh?" Or like, "Oh, y'all going to the rink, huh?" Like the venues were the same, You know what I mean? But these venues were never really traditional clubs in that sense. They were kind of these like, converted spots that were basically black businesses that essentially had space, real estate, and, probably decent sound systems. You know what I mean?
Do the gangsters in Chicago dance?
Yes. Yes. I can't speak for post-drill. Post-drill, I have no...
Listen, me and you are both. Post-drill, we are inside.
Yes. This is the funny thing, because when I was coming up, the part of Chicago that I'm in, that I'm from, South Side, but specifically the East Side, a lot of the parties, at like the South Side Y, or again, these kind of rec center parties and things like that, a lot of them happen in this Southeast Side area.
Okay.
When you get to the drill moment, right? You get to talking about Inglewood and O-Block and, all of that. Same exact area.
Wow.
Literally, like,
it makes sense, and I don't know why like you just blew my mind so much with that little factoid, but wow.
All of that, it goes to show you what is in the water. You know what I'm saying over there? It's like all of those things can exist. The joy, the willingness to party, to dance, to bring folks together, and to, manifest your trauma the way you do. I literally just watched a YouTube video with Lotto twerking on the hood of a car on my auntie's block. This is like, I don't know, some new song, Mouse Tool or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Auntie Cookies. Wow. So
that's crazy.
People waving AKs.
Oh man. But it's so interesting to think that everything is being retrofitted onto the same locations. Like the spots that used to cater to hip house are the spots they drilling at now. And that's like,
yeah. It's
just crazy for me to think that the same incubators are cultivating the talent in the city.
It speaks a lot to, and this is a phrase that, my wife has kind of really made resonate for me, but our ability to facilitate joy and grief and to wear them both well, or to, live in light and live in dark, right? And still wear it well, and still shine bright to other people and reflect, onto other people. And I say people, not necessarily just Chicagoans, but literally like Black folks, you know what I mean? People, communities of color who are navigating depression. The no jumpers of the world don't talk about this kind of stuff, but there was basically a period that coincided with like the Ida B. Wells projects being torn down and Stateway Gardens and a number of the large, massive projects, even on down to eventually Cabrini being torn down. And when that happened, the responsible redevelopment strategy was, we're going to take a group and we're going to put them over in some affordable housing, like single family unit homes, so not typical buildings, but like just essentially like houses on a block that are still government subsidized. And we're going to put them over here or in this apartment building that's government subsidized in a completely different community that ain't got nothing to do with the one that they just that was just torn down. And so what ended up happening, which naturally it's like, you take a BD set from the Wells and you move them, to a Vice Lord block. Like,
again, wow.
And low key, it was like a lot of this stuff happened in a summer. And I personally remember those summers of like 06, 07, 08, leading into what becomes the moment when we transitioned into everything drill. Those summers, it was like, I'm getting a call. Hey, the ice cream truck just got blown up today, or hey, it's they just cut the power grid tonight, and heard some gunshots, and then they came back on. Like, it's like the stories were wild, like City of God type stories that you're getting from home, and then all of a sudden,
holy shit.
Chief Keef and Reese and them got all the guns in the apartment, and it's like it made perfect sense.
In my mind, like the projects being torn down was like a very intentional Katrina damn near.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it eradicated an entire neighborhood and it forced people to relocate,
Yep.
That shit is crazy to think about because there were hundreds of people who
had
nowhere to go or had to go wherever they
had to go wherever. Yep. Had to go wherever. And I mean, I'm telling you, the spikes, those coming out of that, those were those summers where you started seeing us on the news all the time. And Barack, how do you feel about the fact that 1,000 people just got shot this Saturday? Like, all of that. Like, that was that era. The music is a reflection of that.
Damn, you just drove some shit home.
I'm just saying, the music is a reflection. And like Kendrick say, but we gonna make it look sexy, right? So, so that's how it becomes, the Brooklyn and UK and all of this.
If you had to make up a new genre name, if you had to come up with a fresh genre name for your style of music, what would you call your genre of music?
House raps.
House raps?
House raps. To me, house raps sits in dance, electronic, whatever they want to do with that. It sits in hip hop and it sits in pop. What makes hip house special is that if all hip hop comes out of the genesis of the Jamaican, toast tradition, rocking the party, or the West Indian, party rock tradition, if it all comes out of that, compared to what hip hop is now, hip house is actually the most direct, I guess, lineage to that.
Absolutely. So house raps it is.
Yep. House raps.
Thank you so much for sitting down, man, and dealing with the technical difficulties with
All
me.
good.
I feel like I learned a lot about Chicago, a lot about hip house, and just a lot about you, man. I really enjoyed catching up with you, G.
Yes, sir, man. Likewise. Love you, brother.
Once again, shout out to the homie Dave Giles II. Be sure to visit his website to learn more about him, his group Dave and Sam, and all the other cool stuff he's got going on. In the show notes of this episode, you can find links to all of his info, as well as a list of 10 Chicago house songs to check out if you want to get more familiar with the genre. The Almanac of Rap is a working creative production. The show is written by me, Donwill, with music provided by Von P of Tanya Morgan. Be sure to stop by donwill.me/AOR to check out past episodes, sign up for our newsletter, or just drop us a line. And that's it for today. But before we go, here's a clip of hip house pioneers Tyree Cooper and Fast Eddie trying to get a consensus on what to call the competing subgenres of rap that popped up around the same time as hip house.
It's a lot of ways you can explain hip house. And like I say, what our competition is doing is not hip house.
They're doing house rap. That's what he was saying. They do house rap, not hip house. So
it's 1,000 ways.
Yeah,
it's 1,000 ways you can explain hip house and house rap and rap house, and you even said you heard some club rap, right? I mean,
so
it goes on.
That's like KC Flight, and I mean his more club rap. Planet E, that's more club rap.
Don't say club rap.
But I mean that's what basically. It's
rap house.
Yeah, rap house.
Rap house.
Oh, genre. All right. See you guys next time on the Almanac of Rap.